Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you all for joining in. Welcome to Srila Prabhupada Disappearance Day Remembrance event. This is Dhruv Advani, and I would like to welcome you all on behalf of the Yatra. And first of all, would like to thank Damodardesh Yatra and Srila Prabhu for giving us the opportunity to organize an event and remember Srila Prabhupada on this day and make this a great important day where we can really remember his pastimes and imbibe his teachings, take learnings from his teachings. And he has given us the opportunity, the youth specifically, to organize this event. So would like to thank and take the blessings of all senior Vaishnavas present in the meeting that today's event is organized by the youth for the service of all the devotees. So would like all of you senior Vaishnavas to please bless us. And if there's any, mistakes, any mistakes committed, please forgive us and consider us your children. We're still learning. So would like to take very less time and hand over to our host for the day, which is our compeers Malini and Ramdas. Would request Malini and Ramdas, please unmute and show yourself. Please put your cameras on.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Are we
Please take
audible and visible?
Yes, very much. So Malini and Ramdas will take us through the event and would request everyone to please follow and tune in. We have a lot scheduled for the day. So thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, everybody. Welcome all of you once again to this program. Thank you so much for joining in. So like Dhruv was saying, today, we have all gathered here to remember our beloved founder Acharya, his leelas and his instructions. And we all shall also pray for each other so that we all can apply them in our lives. So
Without further ado, let's start today.
with all your blessings and permission. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayan Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatamritam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So we'll begin our today's program with an opening kirtan by Haridas Venkatesh, all the way from India. Hare Krishna, Haridas.
Okay, before Haridas Prabhu starts, just a little quick intro. If you forgot who he is, or thanks to lockdown. Well, Haridas Prabhu is our lead Kirtaniya Mridanga player. Well, wherever you see Kirtan, you see Haridas Prabhu. He's there, first. Dhoti, Kurta, Mridanga. That's Haridas Prabhu for you. Okay, Haridas Prabhu, you can start.
Hey Krishna, I hope I'm audible. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Hari Prabhu. Haridas Prabhu. Correct.
Thank you so much for the lovely Kirtan. Hare Krishna.
थोड़ा energy बढ़ा ना.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, I like that.
Okay, so Ramdas,
Mm-hmm.
now that we have gathered here to discuss about Srila Prabhupada,
Yes.
let us go back to his childhood.
Okay.
And okay, so I want to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
when you were 6 years old,
Mm-hmm.
तू क्या करता था?
Quite simple thing. खाता था, सोता था, खाता था, सोता था. मजा नहीं लगी.
You know, when Srila Prabhupada was 6 years old, he asked his father for deity of Radha and Krishna to worship. And his father brought a pair of little Radha and Krishna deities for Abhay. And Abhay, from then on, whatever he used to eat, he used to first offer it to them. And he used to imitate his father and other priests of Radha Govind. And he would offer his deities ghee lamp and put them to rest at night. He used to do strict deity worship when he was 6. What do you have to say?
Hashtag zindagi waste. What I did waste? Oh my god. Well, he should have looked. I am Ram Dasanu 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 Dasanu. Chair toot jayega.
That was our Srila Prabhupada. So there's a lot to speak about Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has a lot of qualities. He's an expert. He's very compassionate towards devotees, and so on and on and on. We can go on and on, but then now we'll invite senior devotees from our yatra to speak about Srila Prabhupada. So first we have Nand Kishore Prabhu, who's gonna bless us with some nectar.
Well, before he starts, I would just like to give a short introduction.
Everybody knows Prabhu.
No, some people like me have goldfish memory. Today, tomorrow forget, like that. So Nand Kishore Prabhu, if you remember, every Friday morning, Hindi, perfect. Uttam se bhi uttam translation. Yes, if you're getting the click, that's it. Well, because of him, my Hindi vocabulary, I learned so many new words just from him. I'm thinking to leave, like instead of going to school, I should have been with him, spend some time with him. After my Hindi would have been next level. And you see the calendars, well, it's all thanks to him. The calendars which you're seeing, tomorrow Ekadashi, this and that. By the way, next week Ekadashi. So all thanks to him. So we would like to call upon
Nand Kishore Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please bless us and we can start.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for this opportunity. And Ramdas Prabhu and Mataji, thank you very much for the introduction, which I'm not worthy of. The calendars is an effort of a lot of people, a lot of devotees. And so the translation is also by the mercy of a lot of devotees. So thank you very much for that. So I would like to begin with few years back, His Grace Sureshwar Prabhu from the Mayapur Institute of uh, of the Vedic studies. He was coming here and teaching Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, etc. So in one particular lecture of his Bhakti Shastri series, he said how Srila Prabhupada was an expert in every single thing he did. Observing each and every item and then ready to honor. So he was expert in every single thing. There was not any area that one couldn't say that Srila Prabhupada was not an expert in. Particularly, I would want to mention two occasions specifying on the thought that how he was expert in answering to questions. Just superb. So there's this morning walk of Srila Prabhupada in Stockholm, if I'm not mistaken. And Srila Prabhupada is being told that, Prabhupada, there's a new group that's coming up in Europe, and they're saying that they control everything. They are in control of this and they are in control of that. And Prabhupada, before they could just proceed ahead, just stopped them and said, what about death? And that was the answer. So there was a big list of this can be controlled and that can be controlled and this can be achieved, and he very simply just trashed the whole argument by saying, what about death? So everyone knew that that was something that was beyond the control of that group. So Srila Prabhupada just trashed through arguments, often with just one word answers, not even a very elaborate answer. There was another instance, many times he would be put questions like, have you seen Krishna? So there was one instance when Srila Prabhupada was asked, have you seen Krishna? And he just answered, well, whatever my answer is, how is it going to help you in your spiritual life? Do you think it's going to make any difference to your spiritual life if I say yes or no? It's more important you pick up your beads and start chanting Hare Krishna. So just so much the apt or the perfect answer to every single question he had, to every single argument he had. He was an expert in every single thing. There's a pastime which is narrated by Sri Shamsundar Prabhu, one of his disciples. So Prabhu was saying that once they were in Sridham Mayapur, and Shamchandra Prabhu was given the service of driving Srila Prabhupada to meet Lalit Prasad, who was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj's real brother. So they went to him to drive to him, and what they realized in course of time that the road on which Shamchandra Prabhu was driving had very big gaps, and the gap was filled with water, and it was really big. So Shamchandra Prabhu just said, Prabhupada, I don't think we are going to make it to meet Prabhu. So Srila Prabhupada didn't even get down off the car to see the gap, didn't even raise his head to see the gap outside the front windscreen. All Srila Prabhupada, Shamchandra Prabhu said, Srila Prabhupada just started calculating in his mind, and he said, so behind which Srila Prabhupada was Brahmanand Prabhu and one more devotee. So he said, Brahmanand and you guys get down. He told Shamchandra Prabhu, you just take the car exactly 50 feet back and just shoot the full accelerator. And Shamchandra Prabhu did that, and they jumped the very first gap perfectly. And then the other devotees would get in the car. And whenever any gap came, Srila Prabhupada told them to do this. So Prabhu was saying that Srila Prabhupada was just an expert in every single thing. Anything he didn't it was not that he needed to put great effort. It was like spontaneously he was aware of how to tackle every single situation, and in this regard also it is said that Srila Prabhupada was even an expert in doing engineering drawings, although he was not an engineering student. So practically he knew more or less how to do everything well, and he himself says this in one talk: it's because I am surrendered to Krishna. He says in a talk that I am not a scientist, I am not even close to studying what scientists have studied, but still I can defeat all the arguments of the scientists because I reach Bhagavad Gita and surrender to Krishna. So he used to tell his disciples, even if you thoroughly study this Bhagavad Gita, you needn't study any other field to learn how to defeat their arguments. You'll get everything from here once you surrender to Krishna. So this is Srila Prabhupada, expert in everything. And one more thing, just to end, what I would like to add, he was an expert in even loving. Uh, any devotee who has come in touch with Srila Prabhupada, any individual who even may not have taken to Krishna consciousness, who has come in touch with Srila Prabhupada, can't deny the fact that they felt um, a huge amount of loving reciprocation from Srila Prabhupada, even if he told them something that was heavy, even if he told them something that was very shooting, maybe sounding very shooting, but still they all felt a particular vibration of love from Srila Prabhupada, and they often said because of that, they were ready to do anything that Srila Prabhupada asked them to do. And that is the quality of a Vaishnava, that he is loved by each and every one. And even the six Goswamis confirm this in it's confirmed in the Shad Goswami Ashtakam, Dhira Dhira Jano Priya Priya Karo. So even the Dhira or Adhira, they love a pure devotee of the Lord. And that's why Srila Prabhupada, being expert in every single area and an expert in how to charm the hearts of one and all, by the love which he had for everyone right on the spiritual platform, far beyond this material body. Thank you very much once again for giving this opportunity to speak on um, the great soul who walked amongst us, as it's said. And thank you very much. And yeah, looking forward to hearing from others. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for inspiring us. And please give us blessings so that we also can get inspired and improve in our bhakti. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So, Mani, what's next?
Next, so we spoke about Srila Prabhupada's childhood, and I think you had something to share next.
See, I have a goldfish memory, told you. Okay, so we spoke about Srila Prabhupada's childhood. Let's go to now extreme end, means old age. Old now, Prabhupada is never old. Like we saying that we being old at the age of 69, he traveled the whole world 14 times. At me at the age of 18 cannot get up from this room to that room just to get water. So let's not talk about that. It's just that at the age of 69, when Prabhupada was in US, and we think, oh yeah, when we hear at such a temperature, minus 23, minus this and that, we are like, what is this? We have our AC that's 23 degrees. We are like, yes, we are healthy, we can face it. But actually, no. Like Gaurav Prabhu in his lecture, he spoke that when he was also there in US, Brooklyn, it was minus 23. He was shivering. He was like, the wind was hitting me. That cold. So like when you hear like that, when he was explaining like that, now we can understand at that age, that fragile age, he was there, he was on his toes, doing all the seva and everything. And best part, not the best part, I mean the worst part, his manuscript got stolen, his typewriter got stolen. And he didn't even lose hope. And look at us now. 6 month ka lockdown, already actors are suiciding. Naukri nahi hai, chhod do. Nothing to do. Let's go. Where? I don't know. Let's go. What is this? We need to have confidence, we need to have courage, we need to follow steps of Prabhupada. And at such bad times also he had faith on Krishna and he was doing his best. Krishna helped and delivered. We should also follow same footsteps.
Correct. Okay, let us discuss more. Let us hear some more pastimes of Prabhupada. So next we have Radhapada Pankaj Prabhu. speaking about Prabhupada's quality of compassion.
Well, Radhapad Pankaj Prabhu is also compassionate towards us by providing every year the seva of Channamrit. So Channamrit which you are drinking in UAE is all thanks to him. The Abhishek which you are seeing, the photos by Chinese Prabhu's father. Narendra Prabhu. You see every day photos now. It's all because of him. If he's not there, Abhishek कैसे होता? हमें सेवा कैसे मिलते? So Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Please bless us and you can start.
Hare Krishna kids, actually, thank you very much for the service and thanks for your flowery words, but we are not worth it. Actually, this all comes from His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj and Srila Prabhu and other senior Vaishnavas in the Yatra. You have given us this opportunity. But yes, compassion is something that we need to speak about from the perspective of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was ocean of mercy, ocean of compassion. So we'll just begin about it. He was one personality who had all the 26 gunas of a Vaishnava, and compassion being the biggest part of it, Karuna being the biggest part of it. So let's see what Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita talks about the word compassion. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter number 3, verse number 98, it says, लोकगति देखी आचार्य करुण हृदय विचार करेण लोकेरा कैचे हितहया. Translation: seeing the activities of the world, the Acharya felt compassion and began to ponder how he could act for the people's benefit. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, he says, since the Acharya is a confidential servitor of the Lord, his heart is full of compassion for the humanity in its suffering. He knows that all suffering is due to the absence of devotional service to the Lord, and therefore he always tries to find ways to change people's activities, making them favorable for the attainment of devotion. This is the qualification of Acharya, and Srila Prabhupada 110% fitted the bill. Just on the instructions of his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, at a ripe age of around 70 years, Srila Prabhupada voyaged a journey to America to preach the teachings of Lord Chaitanya in the Western world. And as we all know, during that travel in the Atlantic Ocean, he suffered 2 massive heart attacks, but he survived that by the blessings of the Lord. And actually, when Srila Prabhupada in 1966 came to the shoreline of America with its impressive skyscrapers, he could not see any material prosperity, but on the contrary, he found that this was a spiritually bankrupt country. And at that point, he prayed to the Lord fervently to be used as an instrument of spiritual compassion, beseeching the Lord to make him dance as his puppet. Srila Prabhupada did not come to America to enjoy the comforts actually, but he came to share the spiritual comfort of God's love, because he could see that people under the control of Maya were thinking that material enjoyment to be the best. And as you all know that when Srila Prabhupada, he landed at that point of time in the US, the hippie culture was rampantly spread and the youth were rejecting the gross materialism. The US was going through one of the most turbulent times, and most of this well-intentioned but uninformed youth were seeking spirituality through mind-altering drugs, tragically ending in as drug addicts and not spiritualists. This is where Srila Prabhupada entered, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And you could see a great cultural mismatch, which was very difficult to imagine. Just imagine an elderly, scholarly monk who had never drunk tea in his life was living amidst the college dropouts whose lives cantered on sex and drugs. 2 distinct contrasts, but that is where the compassion comes, because he was not seeing them as a drug addict. He was seeing them as a soul who had lost their connection to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. So very fearlessly, but compassionately, Srila Prabhupada invited those troubled youths to replace their chemical high of drugs with the spiritual high of chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna. The kirtans featured dancing in time to the responsive singing of the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And the hippies instantly loved the music. and they all came to love the Swamiji's spiritual music. Between 1966 and 1977, at the year in which Srila Prabhupada departed from the material world, he erected 108 Radha Krishna temples across the world, and he traveled relentlessly 14 times across the globe, giving the people of the world the matchless gift of Krishna consciousness, Tranaya Karunya Ghana Ghanatvam, to the living entities who are suffering in the Samsara Dvala Dava Nalalida Loka. This is the ocean of mercy, the compassion. I'll just quote a few words of our dear Srila Prabhupada, which reflects his compassion towards the living entities across this globe and for all the jivas who are suffering in the material world. In one of the letters to Jadurani Devi in California on 8th of July 1967, this is what Srila Prabhupada writes: I wish to leave some of my spiritual children who have so kindly joined me in faith and respect, so that they may work and this philosophy of Krishna conscious may be broadcasted all over the world. You are all educated, cultured, young boys and girls, and if you understand the philosophy, it will be a great help for the suffering humanity. So he could see that humanity at large was suffering, and he was creating spiritual children who could go ahead. Similarly, in a lecture in New York in 1972, July 6th, he said, I am therefore so much laboring the hard that we, before leaving my body, may give you some books which you can enjoy after my death. So utilize it, read every shloka nicely, try to understand the meaning, discuss amongst yourself. Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya, this is our mission. And this is the word that it rings in your ears, Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya. Yes, every day morning in Damodardesh Yatra, we are having this. So the mission of Srila Prabhupada is very beautifully being enunciated in our Yatra. And then he tells in Los Angeles, in another lecture of Srimad Bhagavatam, 31st May 1972, if you actually feel for your country, for your community, for your people, just spread this Krishna conscious. They are dying. You spread this Krishna conscious, they will come to life again, and everything will be actually beautiful. This is my request. I came to your country with this mission. The American people, they are feeling frustrated. If you take to Krishna conscious, they will be happy and others will follow their example. And we are all doing that same thing. Our wonderful spiritual masters across the globe are coming from every part of the world and giving us and accepting us as their disciples. And then see, brilliantly he tells again to Bhakti Jana in Los Angeles, 21st September 1972, you did not require to worry, as I shall never leave you. You are my disciple and I am your spiritual master. So there is no question. So long you follow my instructions, I shall be there. I shall ever be there with you. Letter to Tejas Prabhu, Mumbai, 1974, 15th November. Pushing this movement, I had to face many difficulties throughout since I left my home. I lived in Delhi in a Sakur Basti because the rent were cheaper there. It's just, these bastis are actually low-lying areas where, not good people live basically. And I could not even take an apartment. And last but not the least, in a lecture on Sri Bhagavad Gita, Hyderabad, April 28, 1974, Srila Prabhupada says, this Krishna conscious movement is meant for taking back all the suffering humanity, all living entities back home, back to Godhead. This is the sum and substance of Krishna conscious movement. So these are a few quotes which I thought that on this day we should share and remember Srila Prabhupada, because he lives with us in his books, Krishna conscious movement. And he says, that's how I say that Srila Prabhupada is an ocean of mercy. In true sense, he showered his compassion on the jivas of the world, and we are all very fortunate to be the recipients of this compassion that got manifested in the form of International Society for Krishna Conscious. And as the saying goes, you built a house in which the whole world can live. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much once again for this opportunity. We are very insignificant souls, but Prabhupada is great. He is the greatest of all. Through his disciples, he has accepted us as his grandchildren, and we are all very fortunate to do that. Hare Krishna once again. Thank you very much. I thank all the Yatra leaders, the senior Vaishnavas, and I take the opportunity to take their blessings. And wonderful little kids, thank you for the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare
Thank
Krishna
you,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Well, Prabhu, thank you so much for showing your compassion towards us by sharing how Srila Prabhupada showed his compassion towards his devotees.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Malini.
Okay.
So, next.
Let's hear more and more. I'm just not getting enough of it. That was so motivating and encouraging.
Through that.
So next we have Jai Govind Prabhu, who's gonna tell us about how Srila Prabhupada was merciful towards everyone. Hi Krishna, Jai Govind Prabhu.
But before that, one small introduction. So, as you all, if you're coming to Friday morning program and if you're taking the prasadam and going home and enjoying it, like savoring it, all thanks to whom?
Jai Govind Prabhu.
Jai Govind Prabhu, obviously, Jai Govind Prabhu. And Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, your disciple course, this you have heard. All because of whom?
Jai Govind Prabhu.
Jai Govind Prabhu. If he is not there, so what? Where will we be?
Correct.
Correct.
Hi Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Please bless us and you can start.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Malini and Ramdas Prabhu. It's all because of Srila Prabhupada mercy. So we are sitting here and we could able to do it's only because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So I have been asked to speak on subject merciful, and just now our two wonderful devotees like Nand Kishore Prabhu, then Radhapad Pankaj Prabhu spoke on qualities of expert, how Prabhupada being expert, and also Radhapad Pankaj Prabhu spoke about how compassionate Srila Prabhupada is. So now I'm going to touch upon few points on mercifulness of Srila Prabhupada. Actually, the difference between the merciful and compassion is not much. The mercy is unaccountable, relenting forbearance to cause allow harm to another, while compassion is deep awareness of suffering of other, coupled with wish to relieve it. Okay, so the mercy aspect of Srila Prabhupada, and as we have seen in the Shastras, Srila Vasudeva was very compassionate and merciful on the people of Kali Yuga. So, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vasudeva, he could foresee the anomalies of people in the age of Kali Yuga. So, he gave Srimad Bhagavatam. So, then that Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada, and he is also very compassionate, like Vasudeva and so many of our other acharyas. He translated that Srimad Bhagavatam into a language which has got very few limited words, whereas Sanskrit is full of wonderful text, and you don't find similar text in English, because English is a it with just 26 letters is very limited. And he took that and he translated and he took that Srimad Bhagavatam to West to give the culture of Srimad Bhagavatam. Just as Radhapad Pankaj Prabhu was mentioning, he went to West to a land where they are poverty stricken as far as the spirituality is concerned. And he went and distributed this message of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is his wonderful quality of mercifulness. Then he is merciful on all of us, and because of him we are all sitting here and discussing about him and about Krishna. If Prabhupada is not there, where would you have been? Prabhupada na hoy to. Then as so most some points our Radhapad Pankaj Prabhu has covered about the temple installation and traveling 14 times. Then apart from that, Srila Prabhupada, he translated 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam with purports. If we read one verse with purport daily, it takes us 49.31 years to complete. Then he dictated 22,000 pages of text of Shastras. He translated and wrote purports for Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 700 verse, and if we read one verse daily, it takes 2 years to complete. He translated and wrote purports for Chaitanya Charitamrita, which you will find in 17 volumes, 11,555 verses, total of 2,170 pages. And if we read one verse with purport daily, it takes us, 31.6 years to complete entire Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is the mercifulness of Srila Prabhupada. And just before I conclude, since it's a 3-minute slot, just I try to complete, we end with just 2 pastimes of Srila Prabhupada. And one mercifulness of Srila Prabhupada, which we all heard many, many times. Once Prabhupada was traveling along with Shrutakirta Prabhu in the flight, and the devotees gave him the prasadam of poha, and Shrutakirti Prabhu served Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada has done with that, and he gave that plate to Shrutakirti Prabhu, and Shrutakirti Prabhu was about to honor that Mahaprasadam. Then all this was noticed by one air hostess, and immediately she came and she grabbed the prasadam from the plate of Shrutakirti. It looks yummy, and she put in her mouth. And in return, she asked Srila Prabhupada, why don't you honor prasadam? Why don't you eat the food we serve on flight? Prabhupada said, we are vegetarians. We don't eat anything. Not only that, we eat only the Krishna Prasad. Then she asked, can I do something for you? Then Prabhupada asked, yes, I want some hot milk. Immediately she went and gave 3 hot glasses of milk, because there are 3 devotees who are traveling. Then they all got down and everything was finished. This is the first part. The second part, after few years, that Mataji, that air hostess, and like some devotees went to South America, and they were in the deep forest. They went to a place and they went for Harinam Sankirtan and book distribution. And when they knocked the door, one lady, with the Indian sari, with tilak on her forehead, she opened the door. As soon as she saw the devotees, she called them. Then devotees was surprised to see that lady in that jungle, in that forest, one devotee with full of Srila Prabhupada photos and Krishna's photos and nice altar. Then she narrated the whole story, because she ate the prasadam on flight, and immediately she searched about that personality, the Srila Prabhupada, and she found out the books he has written, and she purchased all the books and she became a devotee. So this is the mercifulness of Srila Prabhupada. Second incident, I was listening to Shyam Sundar Prabhu, and he narrates one beautiful pastime. Of course, he narrated many. I would like to share in this forum one. Prabhupada, would never chastise Shyam Sundar. Shyam Sundar was very, very soft-hearted person, and he mentions, if at all Srila Prabhupada ever angry on him, and he would have committed suicide. That kind of caliber. And Prabhupada tolerated him irrespective of any amount of mistakes he did. And he narrates so many things. One particular thing he was mentioning was, Prabhupada was in Nairobi, and they stayed in Nairobi for 6 weeks. Then immediately they wanted to come back to India, and in India, Bombay, they have arranged a very big Pandal program. Then they came back and they booked a flight, and that time Shyam Sundar Prabhu was the secretary of Srila Prabhupada. So they came, and when they landed in Bombay, outside the airport, there are thousands of devotees waiting with a loud kirtan. And as soon as they came, and they saw one yellow tag on the desk of the immigration officer, which said, since you people are traveling, anyone traveling from African countries, they would get inoculation for the yellow fever, which Shyam Sundar Prabhu was not aware. And in the couple of days in Bombay, the devotees arranged a very big Pandal program. Now Shyam Sundar Prabhu, he become very disappointed, and he said, okay, now Prabhupada is going to chastise me. Then he goes to the immigration officer, how should I come out of this crisis? then immigration officers suggest two things. One, take back the flight and go back to Africa, or else stay in our quarantine place for 14 days. And Shamsundar Prabhu, he didn't know what to say. Then he went and told same thing to Srila Prabhupada, thinking that he will get a chastisement. But Prabhupada was so merciful on him. He said, okay, Krishna wanted us to take some rest. Okay, let's take. And that was a great mercifulness of Srila Prabhupada. And he is merciful on all of us. If Prabhupada was not there, probably we would not have been here. We would not be having such a wonderful association of Prabhupada and his family everywhere. Especially, we are much fortunate here in Damodardesh. We have so many wonderful opportunity for everyone. Please be take the opportunity and serve Srila Prabhupada and serve the Yatra with a full form faith. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for inspiring us.
Thank you so much for sharing this. I truly agree with your words when you say that यदि प्रभुपाद ना होते तब की होए तो.
यदि प्रभुपाद नहीं होते तो हम ये Zoom call में ही नहीं होए तो.
Correct. Thank you so much, Prabhu, once again. So when as we're discussing about how merciful Prabhupada is, we all know that once Prabhupada wrote a letter to Mahatma Gandhi, in a busy schedule, took out time and he wrote a letter to him saying, I tell you as a sincere friend that leave, come out of this active politics and if you do not desire an inglorious death, leave this politics and engage in preaching and understanding Bhagavad Gita. That's how merciful Prabhupada was. But when Mahatma Gandhi didn't respond to that letter, he just after a month, when Prabhupada sent that letter, right after a month, he was assassinated.
Ram Naam Satya hai. Okay, so Prabhupada is more merciful. We were saying that the Mahatma Gandhi objective was what? Bharat ko azad karo, free India from foreigners. People they say, तुम अमेरिकन ने तुम गोरे लोग ने हमारा सब चुरा लिया, लूट लिया. Well, but they forgot one thing. Prabhupada says they forgot one thing. That's why he personally went to deliver it, to give it that.
What?
Bhakti,
Correct.
Krishna Bhakti.
True that. So yeah, so we see Prabhupada is actually so merciful. So Prabhupada is not just merciful; he has other qualities also. Let's call upon Akinchan Damodar Prabhu, and let's see what he shares with us.
Well, before Akinchan Prabhu starts, I would just like to give a brief, very small introduction. Well, he's a youth inspiring personality, we can say. Big celebrity of youth.
Truly inspires us.
Many Sharda devotees he has inspired a lot. And people, all the Sharda devotees, youth, they say that Akinchan Prabhu has showered his mercy on them, and because of them, they are now ISKCON. So, all thanks to Akinchan Prabhu. And he's inspiring me also.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please bless us, and you can start.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you for giving the opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada. Amongst the intelligent class of people, there is an opinion that to glorify a great personality, the glorifier has to also be at least of a great personality himself. Unfortunately, I do not possess any such qualities, but to purify myself, I would take this opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada. The quality of Srila Prabhupada, which was given to me to speak on, is self-controlled. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita mentions a Vaishnava he has 26 qualities. And one of those qualities is he controls his senses. This is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita of the six of the qualities of a Brahmana, where one of the qualities is Dhamma, where he is Shama Dhamma. Dhamma is self-controlled. So I will narrate two pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, which will show how self-controlled Srila Prabhupada was. So one of these pastimes is mentioned by His Holiness Bhakti Charuswami Maharaj in Mauritius. So he said back in the 70s, Holland, Amsterdam had a very small temple, and Amsterdam was very liberal when compared to other Western countries. As a result, the hippies were more there because marijuana, hashish was more uh, easily available. And the temple was very small, and mostly the devotees were also hippies. So Srila Prabhupada was once about to perform the initiation ceremony, and he came to the Yagna Vedi, the fire altar, and he saw that as there was no fruits for which they are for decoration of the Yagna Vedi, and Srila Prabhupada got a little annoyed, and he he got a little irritated, and he said, "Where are the fruits?" So one devotee he got very scared, and he quickly ran down to the kitchen, and he came up with a bowl of cut fruit. And looking at that what will he do with the cut fruits? If you see the Yagna Vedi, there are whole fruits kept to decorate, and he diced all the fruits into small pieces, and he brought the bowl of in front of Srila Prabhupada. And he got annoyed looking at it. It's like, what is this? You don't even know that you have to bring a complete fruit to decorate, and you diced it out. And there was one particular hippie who was not a devotee. He used to come to the temple, and he saw Srila Prabhupada getting annoyed. And he remembered that in the temple, whenever someone used to get annoyed or agitated, the devotees used to tell each other, "Why don't you try chanting?" So that hippie went up to Srila Prabhupada and he said, "Srila Prabhupada, you're getting agitated. Why don't you try chanting?" And Srila Prabhupada, he, he kept quiet, and he quietly picked his chanting beads and he started chanting. I mean, this portrays that how Srila Prabhupada, who is the Acharya, who spread Krishna consciousness in the West, who in Calcutta, by the reporters, were told that you have accomplished what even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could accomplish of spreading Krishna consciousness throughout the world. He controlled his self so easily that he took an instruction from a hippie who was so self-controlled. And this showed that how Srila Prabhupada exemplified that the self-control in himself. There's one more pastime. Now this is two pastimes I'm combining together. In January 1972, Srila Prabhupada was in Jaipur, and he was the guest of Queen Gayatri Devi. He was this pastime was narrated by Sham Sundar Prabhu, and he said that Srila Prabhupada every day he used to give classes, and he was well taken care of in the palace. The queen respected him so much, and that every day there were thousands of devotees of the Govindji temple coming to attend Srila Prabhupada's lecture. Every lecture Srila Prabhupada gave had thousands of devotees. This was in January 1972 in Jaipur. And Shamsundar Prabhu said that he has never seen Srila Prabhupada being appreciated the way in other cities in India, the way he was appreciated in Jaipur. And the very next month in February, he comes to Sridham Mayapur. And my Guru Maharaj, in his memories, he mentions that at that time Srila Prabhupada was living in a grass hut. There was no other place to remember in. And he remembers Prabhupada, one time he was sitting in the grass hut, and he just said that the grass hut is in the mode of goodness, and that is all you need to for your spiritual life. A grass hut next to the holy river and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's all you need. But if we do this, this was Srila Prabhupada saying, but if we do this, people won't come here and they won't listen to us. So we have to build big concrete buildings and made of steels and bricks, which are in mode of passion to attract people. I said, but for preaching, that's okay. We can build them. But for spiritual life, we need only a grass hut. So we see a personality who lived just a month ago, or not even a month, maybe 2 weeks. Uh, in Jan, he was in the Queen's Palace, taking all the being treated with all the aristocracy they could afford to. And the very next month, he comes and he's so comfortable, he's so peaceful in a grass hut. This shows how much self-control Srila Prabhupada was, that no matter what comes in his way, he's not agitated by it, he's not attracted, he's not easily swayed. Of course, it's Srila Prabhupada, but he exhibited the quality of self-control. So that is something which Srila Prabhupada, in all the although he had so many qualities, one of these qualities was something which Srila Prabhupada exhibited. To conclude, Srila Prabhupada wrote in Srimad Bhagavad Gita that self-control means that one should not accept anything which is detrimental to the path of spiritual progress. So on this day, I pray to Srila Prabhupada that may he remind me always what self-control means, so that I can progress in my spiritual path. Thank you very much. Thank you to all the devotees who gave me the opportunity to purify myself by glorifying Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Akechan Prabhu. Thank you very much. Well, that was quite inspiring.
And purifying for us also.
Yes, in Canada, same thing. Okay, so next, as we are talking about
Self-control, how Srila Prabhupada was self-controlled.
how to go self-control. Well, now we come at the age where many people force people to get married. Yes, that 20 is the time. That time where Prabhupada had got married, at that time he was known as Abhay. When he got married and he was trying to have a Vaishnava family life, then that time her wife used to force her to drink tea, chai. But Prabhupada, he was so determined, he had the self-control and he didn't do that. मेरे को तो इधर सामने से कोई एकादशी ने चॉकलेट खिलाया ना, चॉकलेट रख देना, मैं पागल हो जाता हूँ. But that level of self-control we need to have in our life. So, next.
Yes, so there are more qualities.
Mm-hmm.
So let's discuss more about it. More about Srila Prabhupada. So next we have Chaitanya Simha Prabhu, who's going to speak on how completely surrendered Srila Prabhupada was to Krishna. So about Chaitanya Simha Prabhu, he's a disciple of Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and his classes are amazing. We've heard he's expert in Chaitanya Lila, and it's our brother like Ram Raj Prabhu was saying that he's so humble and down to earth that we don't even realize that he's in the hall, because he sits at the back of the hall quietly behind the crowd and attends all the classes. It's very simple, very humble, and that's what we aspire to learn from him. Hare Krishna Chaitanya Simha Prabhu. Please bless us and share some pastimes of Srila Prabhupada with us.
Hare Krishna, both of you. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. I'm not really qualified. You say I have qualities of humility. That's what you see externally, but inside I have a lot of pride. And I'd like to thank all the other devotees today for joining in this wonderful occasion of the festival of the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada's disappearance day and appearance day are very important dates especially for us. And we find in these two dates, we have the opportunity to speak something with a little bit of our capacity to glorify a great personality. If you analyze our lives, we would not be here today if it wasn't for His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I was just wondering that the amount of things and the offerings that He has given to us, we can't even fathom the treasures that He's given to us. The ISKCON movement, we find thousands and thousands of devotees who are congregating, having the opportunity to hear something about God. For myself, I came from the Western background, so for me, I didn't know really who God was. And He made it very simple, He made it very clear. There is only one Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is Shri Krishna. So I've been given the topic to talk about Prabhupada's quality of surrender to Krishna. In Madhurya Kandambini, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains there are 6 processes of surrender. And these are the steps which will make us understand some of the greatness of his qualities of surrender. These 6 different processes are basically starting with accepting things which are favorable, rejecting things which are unfavorable, having one interest with Krishna, taking Krishna as your only maintainer, taking Krishna as your only protector. And of course, the lastly is that he's very meek and humble. These are the 6 different processes of humility. And about Gita, we hear Devi Esa Gunamaya, Mama Maya Duratyaya. That basically, if you really want to surrender, you have to give up the entanglement to this material world, the illusory aspect of this material world. And Srila Prabhupada, when we speak about the first quality in this, what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, is that accepting things which are favorable. Srila Prabhupada took this Yukta Vairagya principle very, very deeply. He knew that the world had to come to a level of coming to goodness, to some level of understanding, some kind of semblance of dharma. And to give them some kind of understanding of this, the previous speaker, I think it was Kinchana Prabhu, mentioned about that, that he accepts things which are basically needed in this world. If a palace that he has to live in, then he accepts that for preaching purposes, but he's detached from all these things. So Srila accepts those things which are favorable in taking Krishna consciousness. Just like, for example, he accepted the technology that was around at that time. He used all the different types of, he asked the printing presses that were there, the computers were there for printing the books, etc. He used the traveling modes like the aircrafts and the transports, cars, trains, etc., whatever was available. Whatever, if there was mobile phones in those days, he would have probably used it. Well, his secretary would have used it. So he would have used it. Of course, he would have used it wisely and be careful about not getting entangled with that. So all these are the accepting things in a favorable way. And then he would reject things which were unfavorable. And one thing that sticks out in my mind is that when he formed ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, at that time when he named the name, when he called it International Society of Krishna Consciousness, some of the devotees said, sure, but why don't we make it International Society of God Consciousness? And Prabhupada was very adamant that he said, no, God is Krishna, Krishna is God. So we have to make it very clear. So he rejected any kind of misgivings, any kind of things that would dilute the process that he's giving to us, which is pure bhakti, ananya bhakti. So he wanted to make sure that it is going to be the purity of that mission. So he wanted to reject anything that was basically not Krishna consciousness or purity in devotional service. He had one interest, and that was only to please Krishna. And how he done that was actually, we find this process of Yasatamika Buddhi Eka Kuru Nandana, that he wanted to please his spiritual master. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, the first instruction that he gave him is, take this message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and give it to everybody in the English language. So this is, having one interest. One interest, spiritual master is a representative of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. He had that one interest to give that to the whole world. No other interest. He was very adamant. If you read the purports, of course, he's protecting everybody, especially, the generations or the traditions that come from the Indian background, where they're very much into the devatas or the demigod worshippers. He was making sure that only Krishna. So only one interest should be for Krishna. And of course, we hear about that Krishna, surrender to Krishna means that you have to completely, fully take the protection of Krishna. And if you just try to analyze this, and it's very, very deep thought. When he went on the Jaladuta, he had never traveled on a boat. And the Jaladuta was, although it's a cargo ship, but it's not like a cargo ship that we see in this world, in this day and age right now. It's a cargo ship which is like a tiny boat. And you can imagine when the rough seas are there, going through the Indian Ocean, the Arabian Ocean, etc., how rough it could have been. And you can imagine a person of 69 years old. But again, we find that he had only one interest. He only had one protector, and that was Krishna. And we hear the beautiful poems that he wrote also in the Jaladuta, that, if you want to make me dance, let me dance in your hands. So he didn't have anything else. And then, of course, the another point about being a surrender, the process of surrender is that Krishna is your only maintainer. So going on the Jaladuta, going to America, this is going back in 1965. Over here today, we find that if you want to travel anywhere in the world, it's very easy. We have credit cards, we have, bank balances and so on. Srila Prabhupada only had 40 rupees, and 40 rupees. He actually, one time in a lecture, he said 40 rupees is equivalent to $7. And he calculated like this, that $7 is equivalent to 1 hour spending in New York or in America. He was preaching this into the Indian crowd. He goes, it's only 1 hour spending. So you can imagine $7 is nothing. So I was trying to understand this calculation, how he calculated it. In 1 hour, you can spend $7 just like that in the streets of New York. So he had only Krishna as the maintainer. He was in the most downgraded places that he stayed in New York, called the Bowery. And you have they call it the bums of society, where there are a lot of all illicit activities are happening, like the drug dealers and so on, and it's very dangerous as well. But he was completely surrendered onto that process of just making sure Krishna maintains him at all times. And sometimes he didn't even have food to eat. Really, he didn't have anything to eat. So a person of 69 years old, you can imagine, all lonely. In one particular entry in a diary, it was the Gaur Punim. He says, I'm all alone here today. It was the first Gaur Punim in 1966, March. He goes, I'm all alone here today. And my godbrothers, they're all in Mayapur enjoying the festival of Mahaprabhu's appearance. And I'm all alone today. But still, I'm not complaining. I want, this is the mission of my spiritual master, and I want to give all my life to this mission. So this is real deep surrender. And of course, we speak about humility and meekness and humbleness. One striking point that comes out, there's so many points about Srila Prabhupada that, about his meekness and humility, but one time Srila Prabhupada was praised that, you are the spiritual master of the whole world. You can be the ruler of the whole world. If you are the president of the country of USA, we can change the whole world. He goes, I'm simply a servant to everybody else. I'm simply a servant to everybody else. And we know that, Srila Prabhupada is the Jagat Guru. Jagat means the whole universe. And that taking the position of being a servant. This is actually what we're talking about, where we get the mercy of the Supreme Lord when we completely surrender to the Lord. By having that surrender, we actually get ourselves completely having the grace of the Supreme Lord on our side at all times. And the idea is that today is a day that we should try to surrender to Srila Prabhupada's mission. We should try to help the mission, cooperate with each other, help each other, and try to promote Krishna consciousness the month of Damodar. And Srila Prabhupada on his last days on the, he was translating some of his purports, and he was just lying on bed, and there was a dictaphone or something that comes onto his mouth, and he speaks, and it's very soft voice, and you could hear what he was saying is that the idea is to make everybody come to the level of goodness. So if they can come to the level of goodness, they can come to the level of Krishna consciousness. They can make steps to this. So our mission is to promote people to come to a level of piety, get some piety, shukriti into their lives. And if we can do that, there'll be some success, and then we can promote further and further and further. It's a long process, and it's a long process for all of us, and it's a long process to make the whole world Krishna consciousness. But if we stick to the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, we surrender to his kind words, his instructions, then we will change the world for sure by his grace. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. You truly invigorate us to be focused on our spiritual activities and sadhana. Really take inspiration from you. Thank you so much. Prabhu.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well, Malini.
So, Hare Krishna, everybody. So now we're having discussions about Srila Prabhupada, his life and his qualities. But soon we're going to have something exciting coming up. There's a surprise. So please don't leave the call and wait for it.
You should say that in much exciting tone. Okay, that's right.
But actually, there's something exciting coming up. There's actually a surprise. So please wait. Don't leave the call. Okay. And so we have last but not the least senior speaker for today. So she is one of the most senior Vaishnavas in our yatra. Her preaching is like wildfire. And unko bahut gyan hai, and even about Guru Granth Sahib, even about Christianity. And when she was young as a child, she's even met Prabhupada. So who's better to narrate the glories of such a personality? So basically, after experiencing, all these religions, then she has surrendered to Srila Prabhupada. So, this tells us the importance of this person and the value Srila Prabhupada holds. So earlier she was a Christian, and now she is Shyam Sundar Mataji.
Wow. Well, itna bola hai aapne, hum bhi zara bol de.
Bola.
Well, let's give some statistical facts.
Facts 101.
101. Till now, combined, how many of you have done aartis now? We are not even 10% of how much Mataji has done. It's only 60% of the month, and Mataji has already done 350 aartis. 350 aartis. I have not even done 10% of it. 35 aartis khud ke ghar pe nahi kiye maine. Socho, like next level stuff.
That was actually right when I said her preaching is like wildfire.
Mataji is so busy in aartis during Damodar month, she's packed. Like, seriously, before this class, Mataji was there.
And
Damodar aarti. Yani socho itna packed hai Mataji. I got the opportunity to be with her for few Damodar aartis and doing kirtan with her. But that's a memory to cherish.
Okay, so now she is with us, and वो हमें बताएंगे how Prabhupada was generous, how he was magnanimous. So Hare Krishna, Shyam Sundar Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Please bless us.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Vidya. Hare Krishna. So जैसा कि मेरे को ये अवसर दिया गया है कि मैं श्रीला प्रभुपाद के उदारता के बारे में कुछ बोलूं, तो सबने इंग्लिश में बोला, मैं हिंदी में बोलती हूँ और आप सबका स्वागत करती हूँ His Divine Grace कृष्ण कृपा मूर्ति अभय चरण भक्ति वेदांता श्रीला प्रभुपाद के तिरुभाव अवसर पर। हम जो हैं श्रीला प्रभुपाद की उदारता के बारे में अगर वर्णन करना चाहे तो हमारा ये एक लाइफ स्पान, ये जीवन भी पूरा नहीं पड़ेगा। भगवान श्रीला प्रभुपाद इतने उदार थे, हमारा जीवन बीत जाएगा पर हम उनकी उदारता का वर्णन नहीं कर सकते। एक बार जो है मेरे को एक मेरा सौभाग्य मिला कि मैं उनसे मिल सकी, कुछ पलों के लिए, कुछ क्षणों के लिए, पर वो टाइम मैंने उन क्षणों को और उस समय को वैल्यू नहीं दिया। तो वो इस प्रकार था कि श्रीला प्रभुपाद एक बार आए हुए थे 1973 में इंडोनेशिया में, जकार्ता में, और वो उस टाइम में वहीं रहती थी और मैं अपने मैटरनल अंकल के पास रहती थी। मेरे मैटरनल अंकल जो थे वो इंडियन मर्चेंट एसोसिएशन के प्रेसिडेंट थे, और ये 1973 मार्च, फरवरी या मार्च की बात है। तो जैसे कि वो मेरे अंकल जो थे, मामा, वो प्रेसिडेंट थे, तो जब श्रीला प्रभुपाद जकार्ता आए तो उनको भी इनवाइट आया। तो मेरे अंकल ने बोला आज बहुत बड़े संत महात्मा आए हुए हैं और चलो पूरा फैमिली चलो। तो फिर मेरा तो बिल्कुल मन नहीं, तो उन्होंने बोला, तो मैं बोला शायद मेरे आंटी अंकल ये जाएंगे, और तो मेरे को बोलते चलो, मैं कहा मैं नहीं चले। तो फिर बोले नहीं चलने का है और ये बहुत अच्छे हैं। तो मैं बोलती पर मेरे को इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है ना। तो बोला नहीं नहीं नहीं, चलो चलो दर्शन कर लेना, दर्शन कर लेना। तो फिर ठीक है, हम गए, और वहां पर जब हम पहुंचे तो बस मैं ये कह रही थी बस जल्दी से, माना धीरे धीरे तैयार हुए थे, वो हमको बुला रहे थे और हम जानबूझ के, हमको वहां जाना ही नहीं था, पर एट लास्ट हम लोग को मैं पहुंच गई। और फिर वहां पर देखते हैं कि श्रीला प्रभुपाद व्यास आसन पे बैठे हैं और प्रवचन कर रहे हैं। तो प्रवचन कर रहे हैं तो हाँ, सब लोग ध्यान से सुन रहे हैं और मेरे मामा भी सुन रहे हैं, सब लोग सुन रहे हैं, पर मैंने बिल्कुल भी उस प्रवचन पे ध्यान नहीं दिया। और मेरे को आज भी नहीं मालूम किस टॉपिक पे वो बात कर रहे थे, क्योंकि वो टाइम मेरी उम्र 18 साल की रही होगी। तो और मैं अपनी दुनिया में थी, जैसे यंगस्टर्स होते हैं। तो अब बस ये इंतजार करते ही इनका प्रवचन खत्म हुए, हम लोग जल्दी घर जाएं, कुछ अपना टीवी देखें, कुछ करें, कुछ एंजॉय करें। पर जब प्रवचन खत्म हुआ तो मेरे को खत्म हुआ, तो हम चला अभी घर चलेंगे। फिर वो हमने देखा कि श्रीला प्रभुपाद अपने व्यास आसन से उठे और सबसे जो है मिलने लगे। तो मिलके सबसे किसी से कोई प्रश्न था तो उनका जवाब दे रहे थे और किसी को उपदेश दे रहे थे। ऐसा करते करते वो हमारी तरफ भी आ गए। तो वो मेरे मामा से बोले, उनसे भी बात करने लगे, तो उनको भी उपदेश कुछ दिए और कुछ कहा, पर मेरा ध्यान नहीं, कुछ भी ध्यान नहीं। मैं तो बस यही इंतजार कर रही थी कब खत्म होए, अब हम लोग भागे यहाँ से। फिर जब वो मामा से बात कर रहे थे तो मेरी तरफ भी देख रहे थे। तो उनसे बात खत्म करके फिर मेरे से कहते हैं कि मामा ने बोला ये मेरी नीस है। बोला ओ अच्छा, तो ये आप कभी सत्संग में जाते हो, कभी कुछ धार्मिक बातें करते हो? तो मैं बोला नहीं, आई एम नॉट रिलीजियस एट ऑल। तो उन्होंने बोला अच्छा, तो अच्छा ठीक है, ज्यादा नहीं करने की जरूरत है, आप जो है ये हरे कृष्णा मंत्र का जाप करिए। तो उनके साइड में एक प्रभु जी खड़े थे, दौलत राम दादलानी, जो कि इनिशिएटेड थे प्रभुपाद से, और उनका नाम मेरे को दीक्षा नाम नहीं मालूम, और एक माता जी भी वहां पर खड़ी थी, धनवंती माता जी। तो उन्होंने उनको बोला, उनको इशारा किया आइए, और बोला कि इनके संपर्क, आप इनसे संपर्क बनाइए, क्योंकि ये भी सिंधी है, आप भी सिंधी हो, और इनसे संपर्क बनाए रखिए। और एक कृष्णा का बुक लाइए, एक कृष्णा बुक लाइए और एक माला लाइए। तो वो दोनों जल्दी से लाए, और वो बुक और कृष्णा बुक जो श्रीला प्रभुपाद ने लिखी है, तो वो दिया मेरे को हाथ में और माला दी। बोला आप ट्राई, ये यू रीड दिस, और आप माला जपो और आपको सब तरीका जो है ये प्रभु जी और माता जी सिखा देंगे। तो मैं तो कुछ बोली नहीं, हाँ करा ऐसा करके फिर हम लोग घर आ गए। घर आए तो रात गई, बात गई, हम कहा चलो ठीक है। पर क्या हुआ, वो प्रभु जी माता जी रोज फोन करें, आइए आज प्रसादम के लिए आइए, आज कीर्तन के लिए आइए, आज ये प्रभु आए उनका प्रवचन सुनने के लिए। तो मेरे को तो कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं था। तो तब मेरे जो मामा थे मेरे को फोर्स किया कि नहीं, 2-3 बार उन लोगों ने कॉल किया, तुम जाओ। तो मैं इस प्रकार जो है 1-2 बार गई और 2-3 बार तो बिल्कुल जबरदस्ती से गई। फिर वहां पर मैंने प्रवचन में सुना कि भगवान जो है हमारी आध्यात्मिक और भौतिक इच्छाएं दोनों पूरी करते हैं। और अगर हम माला जपेंगे, अगर हम प्रसाद खाएंगे, तो मैंने मन में सोचा अरे ये तो बहुत सरल सी बात है। तो मैंने माला जपना शुरू कर दी क्योंकि मेरे को बहुत भौतिक इच्छाएं थी। तो मैंने माला जपना शुरू करी, एक ऑल्टर बनाया, ऑल्टर में भगवान उन्होंने सब गाइड किया मेरे को। तो वो आके ऑल्टर बना के देके गए। फिर मैं 16 माला जपती थी, मंगला आरती 4 बजे उठती थी, मंगला आरती करते थे, सब कुछ करती थी। ऐसे करते करते 1 साल बीत गया। रिजल्टिंग जितनी भी मैंने इच्छाएं की वो सब उल्टी पड़ी मेरे ऊपर। फिर तो मेरा तो मैंने कहा इतना एक भी इच्छा भगवान नहीं पूरी कर रहे हैं। तो मैंने बोला नहीं, ये पंथ सही नहीं है, और मैंने छोड़ दिया। और फिर कई पंथों में भटकती रही क्योंकि मैं शुरू से स्पिरिचुअलिटी में मतलब मेरे को जिज्ञासा बहुत थी, बहुत से सवाल होते थे, बहुत सी बातें होती थी। पर मैं पंथ हर जगह भटकती रही। हर जगह में हो, जैसा कि रामदास ने बोला मैं घाट घाट का पानी पी हुई हूँ। तो फिर उसके बाद मैंने सब ऐसा करती रही, कई साल बीत गए। उसके बाद जब मैं बहुत ही हताश हो गई, सब सत्संग में जाने को मेरा को सेटिस्फेक्शन नहीं होता था। तो एक बार मैंने भगवान से प्रार्थना करी। कौन से भगवान नहीं, मैंने बोला कौन से रूप में मेरे को नहीं मालूम, मैं प्रार्थना करती हूँ कि आप जिस भी रूप में हो, और अगर मेरी लगन और मतलब मेरी जो चाह है आपको जानने की वो सच्ची है, तो आप मेरे स्वप्न में आइए, और किस रूप में आए, जिस रूप में आप आएंगे मैं उसी पंथ को मैं फॉलो करूंगी। तो इस प्रकार जो मैंने 3 महीने तक थोड़ा वाउस लिए, थोड़ा ऑस्टेरिटी की। एग्जैक्टली आफ्टर 90th डे मेरे को स्वप्न में कौन आए, राधा कृष्ण आए, और वही पिक्चर आई जो मेरे को श्रीला प्रभुपाद ने दी थी। और फिर तो क्या था, मेरे को मेरा जवाब मिल गया कि मेरे को राधा कृष्ण की ही भक्ति करनी है। तब मैंने रियलाइज किया कि श्रीला प्रभुपाद कितने उदार थे, कितने उनके में कृपा थी, दयालुता थी कि मैंने उनको कोई भी इंटरेस्ट नहीं दिखाया, ना ही मैंने उनको हरे कृष्णा बोला, नहीं कुछ। और आई वाज अवॉइडिंग हिम, and each and every time when I was avoiding, he was giving me some lecture or something other which I am not remembering now. Then उन्होंने इतनी उनमें उदारता थी, जब मेरा ऐसा एटीट्यूड देखकर भी उन्होंने मेरे को एक प्रभु जी का और माता जी का संग दिया, जिसकी वजह से मैंने 1 साल तक ये सब किया। और फिर अब मेरे को दर्शन भी दे दिए, तो फिर दर्शन दे दिए। फिर तो उसके बाद तो बहुत ही उदारताएं श्रीला प्रभुपाद की मेरे जीवन में आई, जो कि अभी टाइम नहीं है, मैं डिस्कस नहीं कर सकती हूँ, फिर सम अदर टाइम। तो उस प्रकार जो है उसके बाद जो है मैं श्रीला प्रभुपाद की बात याद करने लगी कि उनकी वजह से जो भी मैं हूँ आज, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की वजह से जो भी मेरे को थोड़ा कुछ भी मिला है, खैर बहुत पाने के लिए, पर मैंने तो कुछ भी नहीं पाया है। मैं उनके ये जो आभार है श्रीला प्रभुपाद का, कभी कभी जन्मों जन्मों तक नहीं भूल सकती हूँ। और हमेशा अपने को क्या बोलते हैं, अपने को सोचती रहूंगी कि इतनी अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी मैंने गंवाई। उस टाइम अगर मैं और भी श्रीला प्रभुपाद से जुड़ जाती थी, तो आज तो मैं मालूम नहीं कहाँ की कहाँ पहुंच जाती थी, क्योंकि उस समय मैंने श्रीला प्रभुपाद का इतना आदर सम्मान नहीं किया, तो इसलिए अब मेरे को भक्ति में आने के लिए टाइम लग रहा है। मेरे में इतना जितना होना चाहिए वैसा कुछ भी नहीं है। तो ये है सबसे बड़ी उदारता कि श्रीला प्रभुपाद को मालूम था कि as if he knew, that's why he forced me to do this, और वो सच बात निकली कि उन्होंने आज उनकी वजह से जो बीज उन्होंने मेरे को कुछ क्षण में डाला था, हाँ, वो अब जो है फ्रक्टिफाई हुआ। तो इस प्रकार जो है श्रीला प्रभुपाद की उदारता का तो वर्णन हम नहीं कर सकते हैं। हरे कृष्णा, थैंक यू सो मच गिविंग मी दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी, एंड मैं सबका धन्यवाद करती हूँ, और हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा माता जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच। आपने हमारे साथ ये शेयर किया, आपने अपना एक्सपीरियंस बताया, हम ये सुन के और भी एंथुसियास्टिक हो गए कि हमें करना है।
Also emotional, we can see even Mataji is emotional.
और आप हमारे इंस्पिरेशन हो, हमें ब्लेस कीजिए कि हम आगे लाइफ में कुछ कर सके।
हरे
कृष्णा माता जी।
Thank you Mataji.
Okay, Malini.
So now that we have been discussing about Srila Prabhupada and his qualities and so many pastimes, now let us hear Srila Prabhupada. Let us hear his lecture. Let us take some instruction back home, like now.
Well, इनका इंट्रोडक्शन की जरूरत नहीं है।
अब तो इतना बात कर लिया, 1.5 hour we have Srila Prabhupada's introduction. So Hare Krishna Simran.
Simran Mataji. Okay, Simran Mataji.
Just a second, we'll screen share.
Yes.
So Mahavadi wants to prove that the ultimate truth is Nirakar or impersonal. So Krishna gives you intelligence. Yes, he put this forward, this value, that value. Similarly, Krishna gives, there is a Bengali proverb that how God works, that one man, a householder, is praying to God, my dear Lord, there may not be any theft case, burglary in my home this night. Please save me. Now one man is praying like that. Another man is praying the thief, my dear Lord, this night I shall commit burglary in that house. Please help me to get some. Now what is Krishna's position? Krishna is everyone's heart. So Krishna has to satisfy so many prayers. The burglar and the thief and the householder, so many prayers. So Krishna's adjustment, but he still that is Krishna's intelligence. How he adjusts. He gives everyone freedom. And everyone is given facilities, but still he is in borders. Therefore Krishna advises to his devotees that don't plan anything. You rascal, you nonsense, you don't give me trouble. Please surrender to me. Just go under my plan, he will be happy. You are making plan, you are unhappy, I am also unhappy. I was unhappy. So many plans are coming daily and I'll have to fulfill. He is merciful. He says, so, except the devotee of Krishna, everyone is simply giving Krishna trouble. Therefore they are called Duskritina. Duskritina, most miscreants. The miscreants. Don't make any plan except Krishna's plan. That will be simply giving trouble to Krishna. Because a devotee does not pray even for his maintenance. That is pure devotion. He doesn't give trouble to Krishna even for his bare maintenance. If he has no maintenance, he will suffer. Fasting, still he will not ask Krishna, Krishna, I am very hungry, give me some food. Of course, Krishna is alert for his devotees. But a devotee's principle is not to place any plan to Krishna. Let Krishna do. Simply we have to do according to the plan of Krishna. So what is our plan? Our plan is, Krishna says, Sarva dharman puritajya mamekam saranam. That's manvana bhavamad bhakti, madhyaya. So our plan is the same thing. We are simply canvassing for Krishna, that you become Krishna conscious. We have to show our example, how we are becoming Krishna conscious, how we are worshipping Krishna, how we are going on the street for vibrating Krishna's name, transcendental name. Now we are distributing Krishna's prasadam. As far as possible, our business is to induce persons how he becomes Krishna conscious. For that reason, you can make your plan, because that is Krishna's plan. But that should also be sanctioned by Krishna. Don't make your own manufactured concocted plan. Therefore, to guide you, a Krishna's representative required. That is spiritual master. So, there is a huge plan and huge scheme. Therefore, we have to follow the footsteps of the Mahajan. As it is stated here, that Dadasaite Bijanima Dharmanga Bhagavatanga Bhata. He says that we, the selected Mahajan representative of Krishna, we know what is Bhagavad Dharma, what is Krishna Dharma. Dadas means 12 names already mentioned. Sambhu, Narada, Sambhu, I have explained. So Damodardesh says, only we these 12 men, representatives of Krishna, we know what is Bhagavad Dharma. Dadasaite Bijanima means we know. Dharmang Bhagavatang Bhata Dviyam Visuddhang Durvodam Jangatyam Mridam Asnate. We know. Therefore it is advised. Mahajana Jena Gata Sapanta. These Mahajans, as they have prescribed, that is the real way for understanding Krishna's spiritual salvation. So we are following the Brahma Sambrada, the first stamp, Brahma, then Narada Vyasdev. In this way, Madhacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in this way. So today, because we are following the footsteps of Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, so this is today's his appearance. So we should honor his tithi very respectfully and pray to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami that we are engaged in your service. So give us strength, give us intelligence. We are being guided by your servant. So in this way we have to pray, and I think in the evening we shall distribute prasad.
If a man can talk expertly, it doesn't matter what he talks. Nobody requires to understand it. Then he is Pandit. He is learned scholar. Apart Pulaslena, Bhagavad, Dogwinli, Kulali, Gondola is by the left system of wine. Like if you go on speaking, nobody will understand. Nobody will understand, and people, see how learned it is. Actually, it is happening. There are so many rascals, they are writing a book, and such and such, what you have understood? It is inexplicable. Inexplicable. It is going on. Anadhaya.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Okay, चालू हुआ नहीं चालू हुआ? Okay, चालू हो गया. Yes. Okay, Mali. कुछ बोलना था?
Wow, man, this was so nice.
So nice.
So heavy.
You know, she was so engrossed in listening lectures again and again. She forgot the next thing was not lecture. She skipped, jumbled off order.
But it's okay. Now we can do it. Okay, so guys, so the surprise part that I was saying you have to wait for it is here now. So we're gonna play a Kahoot quiz. Okay, and it's all about Srila Prabhupada and his life and little details here and there. So let's see how well we know Srila Prabhupada. But please get ready with your devices. So you need this device in front of you because we'll be screen sharing here. Questions will be here, and you need another device that you can answer. So get your devices ready, and then I'll send the game pin on the chat box and display it on the screen, and we can play the Kahoot. Okay?
Kahoot download कर लीजिए उसके लिए.
Kahoot download भी कर सकते हैं. You can also just go to the website and play. That's also fine. And meanwhile, we will discuss about meanwhile we'll be screen sharing a video when Srila Prabhupada disciple will be sharing Srila Prabhupada memories.
As you can see.
As you can see, yeah. So please get ready with your devices, and then right after hearing the memories of Srila Prabhupada, we'll play Kahoot.
During the struggle to get Hare Krishna land, we did not have any proper accommodation for Srila Prabhupada in Juhu. So he used to stay at different places that we could arrange for him. So we had arranged for Srila Prabhupada to stay at the house of one of our good friends and life members, Mr. P.L. Sethi, who is building a house in the Juhu scheme. And before the house was completed, Mr. Sethi invited Srila Prabhupada to stay there. So Srila Prabhupada was in a room on the first floor upstairs, and he was talking with some respectable persons. And suddenly, one poor Indian laborer appeared at the doorway to the room. And he was, quite dark complexion, wearing some little cloth around his waist. And he walked right through all the respectable persons in the room up to Srila Prabhupada's table. And he put something on the table. It was a bundle of flowers. And then he put his head down in obeisances, stood up and walked out of the room. And Srila Prabhupada was so moved by this offering that he couldn't think about anything else for many minutes. At first he was completely stunned. He was just completely silent. This simple laborer, how did he even know that Srila Prabhupada was in the house? How did he get the idea to collect some flowers from here and there? But somehow he got the idea, he walked right in, offered the flowers, paid obeisances, and walked out. And Srila Prabhupada remained silent for some moments. And then he said, just see how he has come with devotion. And he quoted the verse, Patram Pushpam Phalam Tvayam Yome Bhakta Prayachati. That anyone who offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a fruit, a flower, or some water, I will accept it. So Srila Prabhupada said he offered with devotion some flowers, and how much I have been affected. And then he said, just imagine the greatness of Krishna. I'm just an ordinary living entity. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But even Krishna, if he's offered just a leaf or a flower with love and devotion, he will accept it. So, how great is Krishna?
Prabhupada had a devotee there who was a Sikh by birth. He joined us, and Giriraj Swami and myself, and this devotee, his name was Chaitya Guru at the time, Chaitya Guru. So he was driving us around, and we would be going, making members and collecting money to build the Vrindavan temple in Bombay. So after a while, this devotee somehow got it in his mind that he should go off on his own and leave and make his own way spiritually in life. And he took up living on Juhu Beach with one bogi yogi, with the intention of learning the art of passing a coin from one ear out the other ear. So before he had done this, he was already canvassing from our members, collecting on his own. So I had approached Prabhupada, that Srila Prabhupada, this person, we have to write something to our members to warn them about this person. So Prabhupada was a little hesitant to do that. Then finally, but he was not ready to give up on this devotee. But when this devotee finally started to live with that bogi yogi, I said, Prabhupada, now it's reached the limit. This person is on the beach, living with a bogus yogi, trying to learn how to pass the coin from one ear out the other. So I said that now, it's the end, it's finished. And Prabhupada looked at me and he said, you do not know about Lord Nityananda's mercy. I said, why, Srila Prabhupada? He said, because there is no end to Lord Nityananda's forgiveness. And later on, sure enough, that devotee came back. And again, Prabhupada tried to help him. He gave this person sannyas even. And the person eventually left. But I met him maybe a year ago, and he's still on some spiritual path of some type. But Prabhupada was so clear, looked at me, and he said, there's no limit to Lord Nityananda's mercy and compassion. So Srila Prabhupada is the manifest representative of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And his forgiveness is like that. So I think that in terms of both our dealing with our own shortcomings and in terms of dealing with each other, we have to always remember that Prabhupada never rejected a devotee. There's very, very, very few instances in the history where Prabhupada, did so. It was very, 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 very rare.
And there was one man who came, a respectable student or perhaps a grad student, and he had a question about Advaita philosophy. And he brought up the example of the drop of water merging into the ocean of water. But he'd asked it in in the context of Advaita philosophy, so he was something of a knowledgeable person, and he asked about this merging of the soul into the supreme, the way the drop merges into the ocean, and in a way that showed that he was behind the idea. This seemed right to him. And Prabhupada answered that the drop may merge with the ocean, but then the drop will be evaporated. that the drop merges with the ocean, but then the sun comes and the drop is evaporated and it's no longer in the ocean. So it's a temporary situation. But if you become a fish, you become an aquatic, then you can dive in the ocean and remain there always. So Srila Prabhupada said that our philosophy is to merge deep into the ocean but maintain our individuality. So Prabhupada answered very brilliantly. Empty engagement, hardly anyone came, but this one intelligent person asked the question and Prabhupada just brilliantly answered him.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Why so done?
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Okay. So now let's do the surprise part. Surprise, as Mani said. It's time for
Game, Kahoot. So
Kahoot game.
everybody, I've sent the game pin on the chat box and I'm also sharing my screen now.
Chalo, I'll play. Okay.
Yes, so that's the game pin. The game pin is 5049115.
And please put your name only, don't put random names. Like you can see GG,
GG, JM.
JM, NKD.
That's okay.
Yes. Let's see. How much do we know
About Srila Prabhupada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have about, how many people on the call? We have about 97 people on the call. And a very few participants. Join quick, join quick.
97 and these
18 participants only.
ADD. Please, if you're coming in, put your name.
It's okay. They know who they are.
They know that. But then we have to know now who is first, who is second.
Ah, that's also there.
We have to appreciate, na?
Mm-hmm.
Appreciation is important in life. Mali, appreciate.
Okay. The participants are increasing. 25. Oh, we have 90, about more than 90 people on the call. Come on, quick.
Okay. आते जाओ
27.
Oh, Tulsi Chachu is in the game.
Everybody is there.
Everybody's in the game. Well, this game is going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting, not as boring as our comparing today, but yeah, join in, quick.
Well, my comparing is not that boring. Iska comparing boring. Okay, so we have these many people. Should we start?
No, only 30 people there. Let's wait. There are 90 people. We'll wait for like three
We'll wait
minutes.
for one Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
That's it. No. 3 minutes. Okay?
3 minutes को ज़्यादा नहीं हो गया?
3 minutes. 3 minutes. Let's chant.
मुझसे तो कीर्तन चला रहा है.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna. Okay, so we have reached almost close to 40, about 36 people are there. And all of you can also join midway. So we'll begin with the game now. And you can join midway as well. The game pin is already on the chat. You can also note it down. It's 5049115. So we have 40 people. I think we are good to go.
1 minute. Again, finally, इसका बता देता हूँ. So as you can see, the screen share is going on over here. You'll be having questions and options. color के हिसाब से you have options
on your other device.
On the device which you're screen sharing, which you're seeing the Zoom meeting. And on the other hand, you're having your phone, which is currently showing like this. In this, you will be having only 4 options, like a color brick option or a like orange circle like that. So according to that, you have to take your right answer, and there is a time limit. So all the best, fastest finger fast. Kaun banega best bhakta?
Let's start.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Let's go. Whoa.
Wow. 3, 2, 1. One ka guess.
Srila Prabhupada's parents were option A, Gaur Gadadhar De and Rajini. Option B, Gaur Mohan De and Radhika. And option yellow, Gaur Gadadhar De and Radharani. Option green, Gaur Mohan De and Rajini.
I would say option green.
Option green. Okay, let's check.
Option green. Time.
3, 2, and 1.
Answer hai
option green. That's right. 17 people got it right. Congratulations. Okay.
Follow my lead and you will come to top or what? Pata nahi.
Exactly. Pata nahi. So don't follow.
Okay. Who's on top?
Top we have Mohan Prabhu, followed by Vidya Mataji, then Shrikant, then Keshav Bhatt, then Renu Mataji. Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, Prabhupada's name kept by his parents was Bhaktivedanta, Abhay Charan, Abhay Charanaravinda, or Nandulal.
Nandulal is not possible. I would say Abhay Charanaravinda.
Abhay Charanaravinda. Okay, so let's check. You say option yellow, correct?
Yes, yellow.
Okay, let's check.
Yellow, dirty fellow. No,
yellow is not dirty fellow.
I mean, yellow, great fellow. Rhyming scheme chal raha
tha. Okay, mixed responses. But yes, majority of them got it right. It's Abhay Charan. Okay, that's right.
I have not got. मैं भी गलती कर लेता हूँ.
अभी these are very basic questions and then difficulty level increase होगा.
Well, don't trust on me. I might.
So now Vidya Mataji is on top, leading. Wow, and then we have new people on our top 5 list, Kunal and ADD.
Sorry, don't know your full form.
Okay.
Next person.
Next question on your screens. Gaur Mohan wanted his son to dash, become a servant of Radharani. Option blue, become a preacher of the Bhagavatam. Option yellow, learn devotional art of playing mridanga. And option green, all of the above.
I say option red.
Become a servant of Radharani. Okay,
yes.
Okay. Let's check.
Because Gaur Mohan itself was a big servant of Radharani.
You are right, but see, 10 people followed you. But like बाकी options भी तो पढ़ने देते सबको. Yes, it was option green. All of the above. Gaur Mohan wanted his son to become servant of Radharani, become a preacher of Bhagavatam, and learn devotional art of playing mridanga. All 3.
Oh my God.
Okay, so we have Shrikant leading, and we have Deepika and Rishabh Dev also on the list.
Deepika is on a streak.
Wow.
On streak.
Okay.
हमें दीपिका माताजी का साधु संग करना चाहिए.
Okay, what was next question? What was the instruction given to Srila Prabhupada by his spiritual master? To preach Krishna consciousness in the West, to join Mahatma Gandhi's movement, to preach only to Indians, to take sannyas. Sannyas. You sure?
Yes, वरना मैं संन्यास ले लूँगा.
I think it's time to take.
क्या चीज़ से वो ही बता रहा हूँ.
Okay. Ramdas, when are you taking sannyas?
I said I'll take sannyas from. बाद में बताता हूँ क्या चीज़ से.
Okay, so it was to preach Krishna consciousness in the West. 31 people got it right. Yes, you are right. People actually followed you, Ramdas. 4 people followed you.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so we still have Shrikant leading, but I think Deepika lost her streak.
Oh my God, what is this?
Deepika Mataji lost her streak.
You are following me?
Don't follow Ramdas. Okay, next question. Abhay's initiated name was dash. Bhaktivedanta, Abhay Charan, Prabhupada, Abhay Charanaravinda.
Simple as Prabhupada.
Prabhupada. Are you sure?
Prabhupada.
Are you sure?
We love you, Prabhupada.
3, 2, and 1. Let's see. You're wrong again, Ramdas.
Oh my God. See, I'm wrong.
This was confusing. 12 people voted for Bhaktivedanta and 18 people voted for Abhay Charanaravinda.
And since these people followed me.
Why are you following Ramdas? Don't follow Ramdas. Okay. Good try, good attempt. See, so now it's getting a little difficult. Okay, whoa. Kunal's on the top, and then Rishabh Dev followed by
Deepika Mataji को बुरा लग गया इसलिए वो अभी आंसर करेक्ट किया.
Okay, let's go. Next question. Maintain your streaks. The only question asked by Srila Prabhupada to his spiritual master was, give me instruction. What do I do? How shall I serve you? Or option green, can I be of any help to you?
I would say, give
What
me
would you
instruction.
say?
Give me instruction.
That's what Srila Prabhupada
Yes,
asked.
give me
Are you
instruction.
sure? Give me instruction.
Mujhe do.
Probably. Let's see. No, it was how shall I serve you? 13 people got that right.
6 people got that.
No, you see, that's what I told, like 6, 5, 13, and 7. It's getting difficult. Let's see.
Don't feel bad. Meko ye wrong hi mila hai.
Okay. Kunal still leading and Simran Mehrwani Mataji is on the list now.
उन्होंने quiz बनाया था ना. Hey, you can't play cheating.
No, she didn't make the quiz. I don't know. Okay, let's see.
Okay, next. And if the quiz is
The title Bhaktivedanta was conferred upon Abhay by Dash, his godbrothers Bhaktisaranga Goswami and Sridhar Maharaj. Blue, his family. Yellow, his spiritual master. Green, all of the above.
All of the above.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, let's see.
And agar answer तुम लोग गलत मिल रहे हैं, if you're seeing very difficult, it's all because of Simran Mehrwani. Please contact her.
That was wrong. That was wrong, Ramdas. So 22 people voted for his godbrothers Bhaktisaranga Goswami and Sridhar Maharaj. Yes, that is right. Congratulations.
Yay.
People actually followed you. 7 people followed you.
Rishabh
Rishabh
is
Dev
on
is on streak. Kunal still leading. There's Hare Krishna on the list.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay,
let's see. Srila Prabhupada accepted sannyas from Dash on September 17th, 1959. Sridhar Maharaj, Bhaktisaranga Maharaj, Keshav Maharaj, Bhaktivilas Tirtha Maharaj.
I would go for yellow.
Yellow, Keshav Maharaj. You sure, Ramdas?
Are
you sure, Ramdas? You've got like 0 points so far. Are you sure? Oh!
Yes!
Okay, 18 people followed you and they got it right. Okay, congrats on your first correct answer. Yes, so like I told you, this is getting a little difficult. Let's go on. All the very best. Oh, Kunal lost the first position. Rishabh Dev is on lead now.
वो सब छोड़ो, मेरा आंसर करेक्ट आया.
Okay, let's go. Question number 9. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami was scheduled to sail on Jaladuta from Calcutta on August 13, 1964, 1965, yellow 1966, green 1967.
I say 1966.
This is little tricky. Those who are bad with numbers will not get it maybe. But if you have a good memory, then you may get it.
भाई luck भी होता है.
Luck भी होता है. Let's see. 1965. Correct. 1965. Okay. 7, 8, and 2 people got it wrong. It's total 9 and 17 people got it wrong. Good try.
No problem.
No problem. Now we learned it. Even I didn't know. Okay. Let's go. Rishabh Dev is still on the top.
Hare Krishna is second.
Hare Krishna is second, followed by Shrikant, then Kunal, then ADD. Who is this mysterious person? Okay, mullets regularly perform their worship at Dash Temple, where even Prabhupada would go every morning. Radharaman Temple, red, or blue Radha Giridhari Temple, yellow Radha Damodar Temple, green Radha Govind Temple.
I would
Which
say
temple?
Either blue or either green.
Are you sure?
Akkad Bombay bo. Okay, I went for blue.
Okay.
I went for blue.
Blue. Let's see.
Oh,
that was close. But then you lost it. So it was green. It was Radha Govind Temple where Prabhupada would go every morning. That's right. To all of you, 16 people. Congrats. Okay. Oh, Kunal's out of the list. So we have Mandana Mataji on the list now. Top 5.
Welcome to the top 5.
Yo, let's go. Question number 11. Dash accompanied Srila Prabhupada from New York to San Francisco. Red, Ranakora, blue, Mukunda, yellow, Kirtananda, and green, Satswarupa.
I would say yellow.
Kirtananda. Sorry. Kirtananda.
Yellow circle.
Yellow.
See, in the mobile is saying lightning smart.
Lightning smart.
Yes.
Lightning smart. Wrong. You're not lightning smart. Okay, so people got confused. Your seat, they selected blue.
Yellow was 10.
Yellow was 10.
Okay. I'm getting so many wrong answers. This is all thanks to Simran Mehrwani. She made this Easy.
Okay. Let's go. Oh, we have Deepika and Kunal back on list. Okay, let's go. The deities Radha Madhav at Mayapur were the deities whom Prabhupada worshipped at Dash. Delhi Panwal Festival, Jaipur Panwal Festival, Crossmade in Bombay, Ardha Kumbh Mela at Allahabad.
Okay, I swear,
Which one?
I don't know. I'm just doing akkar bakkar. My red is favorite color, so I'll go with red.
Okay, let's see if it's right. 3, 2, 1.
But I want to go
Let's go.
Oh.
Oh. Close.
Very
Close. Those are the Kumbh Mela at Allahabad. Yes, 11 people got it right. And 12 plus 9, 21 people got it wrong.
Chalega, I'm with you. मैं भी wrong वाले पे सही हूँ.
It's okay. Let's go. You still have chance to come on the top. Whoa, Simran B, what a jump.
खुद लिख के खुद ही top पे आ रही है. Cheater.
We will not count her if she comes on top.
Yeah, if she comes top, I'm counting as the last.
Okay. Let's go. And the next question, hope you all are ready. That's on your screen. Question number 13. When devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, what is that pleased him the most? Prabhupada replied, red, chant Hare Krishna. Blue, distribute books. Yellow, preach. Green, pray.
I go blue.
Blue, distribute books.
Yes.
Okay.
Shreya's favorite color.
Okay. Let's see if that's right.
See, it's saying pure genius.
Pure genius. Oh, let's see.
Oh.
Chant Hare Krishna, obviously.
I should have gone with the favorite
Obviously.
color.
But yeah, 18 people got confused. 18 people got
18
confused.
plus 6. So that's 24.
Okay. No issues.
No issues. हम भी wrong हैं, आप भी wrong हैं. साथ नीचे जाएंगे.
Okay, let's go. Next question.
How many questions are done?
Okay, wait.
Oh, 13
Rishabh
are
Dev is leading. Then Deepika. Which Deepika? Is it Deepika Mataji or Deepika who made the quiz? I want to know. With Deepika and Simran, we both are on the list.
We both are not counting them. You are last.
Okay.
मेरे से भी last. Okay, next.
Let's see. Next question. This is the second last question. Question number 14. This attitude of complete dash was a symptom of the highest stage of devotional service which Prabhupada was showing. Humility, cooperation, yellow tolerance, or green servitude.
I would go my favorite, Lal Jule Lal, red color.
Attitude of complete humility, you say, right? Okay.
I don't know, whatever I say, galat hi aata hai.
Let's see. Okay.
2TV. इसमें शायरी बनती है. 2TV घड़ी भी वक्त 2 बार सही बताती है.
Okay. That was a nice guess. Okay, yes, that's correct. So the attitude of complete humility was a symptom of the highest stage of devotional service, which Prabhupada was showing. Congratulations to all these 14 people. So now we have still Rishabh Dev is leading.
हमने उनको बोला नहीं खेलने, they went down.
They went down. Deepika and Simran, we are out. Then Shrikant, followed by Shrikant, then Keshav Bharati, then Vandana Mataji, then Vidya Mataji. Let's go. So this is the last question, which will decide who will be the top 3 winners. So be as quick as possible.
And we will be also showing who came last.
Okay, let's go. Question number 15. Srila Prabhupada had deferred the lessons in dying in favor of giving his disciples dash unparalleled opportunity to serve him in pure and simple love. Option blue, to chant the holy names for his pleasure. Option yellow, an opportunity to be with him while he was dictating his purpose. Option green, all of the above.
This is actually difficult. I'll go for green.
Green, okay. Let's see.
Yeah,
that's right. And so this was a little long. Read can maybe time went over. But okay, congratulations to all those 16 people. Let's see now who's on the top 3.
And I will be showing who came last.
There's the podium. Deepika is on the 3rd place.
We are not counting her.
Let's check first which Deepika is it. Okay, then Keshav Bharati.
Okay.
Prabhu, and then
Buses, drum roll please.
Oh, Rishabh Dev. Yay.
Congrats.
Congratulations. And then runners up, we have Srikant and Hare Krishna. I don't know who is Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Oops, we couldn't show who came niche. But no problem. I hope you enjoyed all of the game. I loved it and I learned many things.
Yes.
But whoever followed me, sorry. हम तो बस एंटरटेन मस्ती कर रहे थे, पर्पसली गलत आंसर बता रहे थे सबको।
Okay, ठीक है, no issues. Hope you all enjoyed the game. So now we would actually like to invite Swarup Damodar Prabhu, if you would like to say something.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Swarup Damodar Prabhu. We saw you on camera.
Swarup Damodar Prabhu.
Is he there?
No, I don't see him.
Okay.
Okay, if Prabhu is not there, then we should go ahead. Okay, we got the signals. We'll go ahead. Let's call upon
Hari Gopal Prabhu, who's going to lead us with Aarti. And we'll have Bhajan Aarti by Hari Gopal Prabhu now, and it'll be parallelly done in 607 also. Hare Krishna, Hari Gopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear our volume okay?
Yes, it's audible. Yeah.
Okay, great. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Disappearance Day Mahotsav ki Jai. Nidhai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Jaya Nilo Premadana Karuna Prachu
Hare
Srila Prabhupada Disappearance Day Mahotsava ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you Ramdas Prabhu and Malini. Thank you very much, and all the devotees. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
And thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, all of you.
Mataji.
For giving us this opportunity. And, and thank you everybody for joining us and attending as you are remembering Srila Prabhupada this day. And if you've done any offense, any mistake, knowingly or unknowingly, we sincerely seek forgiveness. Hare Krishna. Thank you once again, all of you.
Hare Krishna.
And also Dhruv would like to speak something. So over to you, Dhruv Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everybody for attending and encouraging all of us youth in organizing an event in service of the devotees and Srila Prabhupada. I hope that we have done justice and pleased Srila Prabhupada and made this day important by remembering him. So thank you everyone for joining in and encouraging. And also thank you to all the Vaishnavas, senior Vaishnavas for blessing us, and to Srila Prabhu and the Yatra for giving us this opportunity. So thank you once again. Would like to see you in the next event. Hare Krishna.